Ah, here we are. Yes. Hello. I'm inside of OBS. I'm stuck. Help. I'm stuck inside OBS. Please help. I'm trapped in the Matrix. I'm probably going to put this up on YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch and all that jazz. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the OBS things that I have and how you can do some of those effects. We are going to talk about the zoom effect. I know one person on the Twitter post said that they wanted to know how I did the zoom effect. Well, if you have OBS, you will need two plugins. The first plugin, and all the plugins and stuff are going to be in the description of the YouTube videos. First plugin that you will need is called the Move Transition. And you can just get that by searching OBS Move plugin and you'll find it. The second one that you'll need is Transition Override Matrix. What that does is it more or less provides a matrix. So, you know, you'll have rows and columns of your scenes and you'll be able to decide X scene will have this transition. Then when it goes back to that scene, it can have a different transition if it wants it. It's a little hard to see at first. Well, why don't we try looking at it? So this is what Transition Override Matrix looks like. Y'all might be like, that's really complicated. It's not like super complicated. It just looks really scary. I have my gamer scene here. So the rows are the origin and the column is the destination. So the way it works is we have gamer scene. This is the origin. This is where we're at. When we go to gamer scene zoom, it'll do a move transition for this many milliseconds. When it goes to the other gamer scene zoom, it goes for this many milliseconds. Then when we go back, say we're in gamer scene zoom and we want to go back to gamer scene, we can set the transition of that. So just remember that the row is the origin and the column is the destination. Cool. Y'all are probably wondering why I have so many scenes here. We'll talk about those in a second. But first we're going to do the zoom. Look at that, I zoomed in. How the hell does that work? Why does it do that? Well, the way the move transition works is that it will essentially move to the scene. So, how does this scene get set up? It's actually very easy. When you set it up in this particular way, it'll actually auto-update. So as you see here, we have a gamer scene right up here. This gamer scene is the basis for everything. You see it has a bazillion different sources. And the gamer zoom only has this here. What is this? This is the scene, gamer scene. You can actually nest scenes inside of other scenes. And this is critical for doing these zoom ins. So why don't we delete this scene real quick? Oh no, it's gone. Now what do we do? Oh, hey, my game capture fixed. I hope this doesn't break anything, but we're going to try this. You go here, you go to OBS, you go to scene. Now you want to add a scene. We're going to add gamer scene. Look at that. The gamer scene is here. Right here. We brought the gamer scene back. Now, because this moves from the gamer scene to gamer scene zoom, we want to actually change how it looks. So what you do is you more or less just resize this. You resize it to where you want it to go. Like you're zooming in. That's literally it. So now we've resized it. Now we can go back to gamer scene. It zooms in. We go here. Zooms in. Zoom out. Zoom in. Ta-da! And that's literally how you do these kind of scenes. Some of y'all may be wondering how I do some of my other like interesting things. Like let's say I decide to do this. My big think. How do you do that? How can you do that? Well, this is going to require thinking about OBS very differently than most people think about it. If you've ever done graphic design or ever used Photoshop before, you're probably familiar with the concept of layers. You start to think of scenes as layers. Essentially, that big thing that I did, that is activating a layer. Just like we did with the zoom in scene, it's a scene. It is slightly different, however. For that, you'll need a plugin called Source Mirror. It's a little different than just putting the scene in. It allows you to edit that specific source and not affect the scene. Whereas if you just put the scene in there, it affects like the base scene, so it doesn't work as well as Source Mirror. The easiest way to explain it is I'm gonna go to Big Think here. So as you can see, Big Think looks like this right now. It doesn't have any of the grayscale or the change in the saturation or things like that, you know, just in here like this, because I wanted the scene to look a certain way and I wanted to be able to adjust it based on how it looked within my base scene, which is my gamer scene. Because I made that scene, I could do something called source mirroring, which will take that scene and put it in here as a mirrored source. So source mirroring allows you to utilize things like filters. So like I have a color correction filter on there. It basically destroys the saturation and adjusts the opacity of it a little bit. I actually think I'll increase the opacity. You know, why don't we do that? Source mirroring allows you to utilize filters for copied scenes. So that's kind of why I said that like these effects, you think of them like layers. Say you have like a graphic, like you have a schedule graphic, you have all these different parts that you want to adjust. If it was just one layer, it'd be really hard to adjust things. As soon as you start breaking it up into separate parts, it becomes a lot easier to adjust specific things. That's why, you know, a lot of my effects that I have on here, I have, you know, in this section of scenes called, I call it StreamerBot stuff. I don't think I'll go into how StreamerBot works. Maybe we'll save that for a separate video, especially because one thing I am considering doing, you guys may know, I have a lower third effect that I've worked on. You know, I have this lower third effect is broken. Oh, well, okay. So it's broken in here because this particular profile is not connected to my WebSocket thing correctly. But you guys know I have this lower third effect here that I've been working on. That does a lot of StreamerBot stuff. YouTube chat, post it in the comments if you want to like learn some stuff. Or if you have an idea and you're not sure if it can be implemented with StreamerBot or OBS, which most of the time it can. It can be implemented.